He wasn't always this quiet. When Daniel first came to live with us, after his father's sudden passing, he was loud, restless, always bouncing a ball or tapping his foot or slamming drawers without meaning to. But that was 4 years ago. He was 18 now, a man. And in the past year, he'd grown into someone so still, so composed, that the house almost breathed around him. I used to think he didn't notice me. Now I wondered if he noticed too much. It started with something innocent. A kiss. A goodnight kiss, to be precise. I'd been tucking him in since he was 14, a boy trembling under blankets, missing his dad, avoiding my eyes. One night, out of instinct, I kissed his forehead and whispered, "Good night, sweet boy." He didn't respond at first, but the next night he waited for it, and it became our ritual. But things changed last winter. That night, I'd gone to check on him after a long day. His door was cracked open, room dim except for the blue light of his desk lamp. He looked up from his laptop when I entered, and he smiled, subtle, tired, but held something else. Something that made me pause. "You're still up?" I asked. "Couldn't sleep," he said. "Just reading." I approached the bed. He closed his laptop and shifted the blankets down, not so much inviting me as expecting me. I sat at the edge, like always, smoothing the corner of his comforter, brushing his hair back. Then I leaned in, but this time he turned his face. My lips landed on his cheek instead of his forehead. He didn't flinch. He just looked at me with those eyes that were far too serious for his age. "Good night," I whispered, pulling back. His hand brushed mine. "Stay for a minute." I hesitated. Just a minute. He closed his eyes as I sat beside him, and I watched his chest rise and fall. His breathing was slow, heavy. Then he rolled onto his side toward me. Too close. I stood quickly, smoothed my dress, and mumbled, "Sleep well." As I left, I felt his eyes on my back, wide open in the dark. The next night it was the same, only this time the kiss lasted a beat longer, and his hand brushed my waist as I leaned down. It became a new ritual, a different kind. I told myself it was harmless, until I found one of my nightgowns folded neatly on his desk. It was soft lavender silk, one I hadn't worn in months. I stared at it for a full minute before calling his name. He wasn't in his room. He'd left it like a quiet confession, or maybe a test. I didn't ask him about it. I should have, but I couldn't, because some part of me wasn't entirely surprised. That night, I kissed him without thinking, and his hand settled on my lower back. He didn't push or grope or even move, just rested it there, like he belonged. I didn't stop him. I told myself I was imagining the weight of it. But the next day, I avoided his gaze at breakfast, and he noticed. "Something wrong?" he asked, tone careful. No, I lied. He said nothing else, but I felt the shift. He didn't kiss me back that night, just stared up at me with those unreadable eyes, and when I bent to kiss his forehead, he turned his head again. This time our lips brushed. My breath caught. Neither of us spoke. I left the room, quickly, heart pounding, heat rising behind my ears. I didn't sleep that night, and from then on his goodnight kisses came with tension, so thick it stayed on my skin until morning. They weren't kisses, really, just moments where mouths brushed too close, breath lingered too long, and fingers grazed too near places they shouldn't. The silence between us grew louder. One Saturday, I came out of the shower wrapped in a towel and walked straight into him. He was standing at the end of the hallway, unmoving. His eyes ran down my body. Not fast, not ashamed, just deliberate. "Sorry," I said, clutching the towel tighter. He stepped aside without apology. "You look good," he said softly. I pretended not to hear, but the mirror fogged slower that night. My hands lingered longer. The worst part was that he never made a move. He never crossed a line. He left just enough space that I could pretend it wasn't happening, that I wasn't letting it happen, until the night of the storm. The thunder rattled the windows, and the house was swallowed by darkness as the power snapped. I lit a few candles and waited, listening to the rain pound the roof like fists. Then came the knock on my door. "Come in," I said. He stepped inside, shirtless, wearing only sweatpants. The candlelight carved shadows down his arms, across his jaw. His hair was damp from the shower. "Couldn't sleep," he said. I nodded, motioning for him to sit. He didn't. He walked straight toward me. "I remember when Dad died," he said quietly. I was angry all the time. And scared. You were the only one who made it feel safe." His voice cracked, and before I could respond, his arms wrapped around me. It wasn't the embrace of a boy needing comfort. It was something heavier. He buried his face in my neck. I froze. Then I felt it. The way his hands curved around my back, the way his breath trembled against my skin, and the way my own body reacted, wrong, shameful, but real. When he pulled away, his eyes searched mine. "Do you want me to stop?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. So he leaned in. And this time, the kiss wasn't an accident. It was slow, searching, silent. Our lips barely moved. But it was real. And it lasted too long. When I finally pulled back, I whispered, "Go to bed, Daniel." He didn't argue. But the look he gave me before leaving burned into me like a brand. The next morning, I woke up with bruises on my neck. Not from pain. From lips. From teeth. From a night I couldn't justify. I didn't remember everything. Just flashes. The candlelight. The sheets. His voice in the dark, saying my name like a prayer. The bruises stayed for days. I wore scarves. He said nothing. But every night he waited at his door. And every night I paused. Sometimes I kissed him. Sometimes I didn't. But the air between us stayed heavy, charged, unfinished. I don't know when it will end. Maybe it already has, and I just keep reliving it, night after night, pretending I can stop something I already allowed. My friends say I look tired. They don't know the truth. That every night my stepson tucks me in, and every morning I wake up with fresh bruises,